Welcome to the Speak and Get What You Want podcast, where you learn to communicate like the world's most successful leaders. Now, here are your hosts, TK Stratton and Chad Kirby.
How understanding this one communication tip, this one communication strategy can completely change your success. That's the subject of today's podcast here with the great TK Stratton. How are you doing, TK?
I'm great.
You
How are
know,
you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's interesting. You and I were talking about one of the strategies that you've implemented in your business that really has changed the outcome of your situation, your businesses, and your overall success. Talk to us a little bit about that.
You know, Chad, when we first started talking, and not long after we started talking, um, it was brought up. You brought up a principle that I think has really helped me, and a lot of our company, and that was called the one down position. You know, and that is when we put ourselves in a position that is pretty much what it is, one down from the person that we're talking to or trying to do business in. And we do that in ways that we don't even always recognize. And so I remember we were really struggling with closings, like myself included, in sales, when we would go out to sell a project or whatever. Felt like I did a great job, did a great presentation, and we walked away and thought, oh, for sure, we landed that. And they ended up going with one of my competitors.
Mm.
And you're like, or at least I was like, how on earth would they have gone with that competitor? And then we started breaking down, okay, what did we say? What did I say? What did I do? Everything about the conversation. And one thing we recognized that had a bad habit of was saying thank you. And we all think that, oh, we should always say thank you for anything that we get or do. And in a lot of cases that's true. But when dealing with a client in a business situation, the last thing you want to say is thank you. And when you look at the highest performers out there, they never say thank you. And there's a reason for that, that we've discussed. And that's a real tool that everyone can use. If you really want help on your sales, your closings, your opportunities, you don't say thank you. Now, if someone asks you, like we said, if they get you a glass of water, for sure, say thank you. And just talking about what that means, when you're dealing with a client, let's say we're going out for a service or anything else, and the client says, hey, thank you, as they pay your bill or whatever, and thank you for the service you gave. When we come back and say, oh, no, thank you, we immediately put ourselves in this one down position that the client perceives us as, oh, they did us a favor by giving us this opportunity to do the work and pay us this check, rather than they got something out of it to help us feel more valued in their eyes.
Right.
And so a better thing to say is, oh, no, thank you, rather than, oh, no, thank you, after they say, hey, thank you for your help today. And thank you for helping me out with the situation, whatever. And that we say, I'm glad to help, anything like that, other than thank you. So you did help them. You provided that service and you're happy to do it. I'm happy to help. I'm glad to help. That held you in a position of value because of what you just did. And that, after I realized that, my sales closing personally went way up, because now when I would go do those things or go out to someone's house and help them through a fire or through a situation, a flood or anything else, and they said, hey, thank you, thanks for coming, thanks for your help. Hey, I'm glad to help. Glad I could help you through this, whatever it was. I'm happy to do this. They continue to perceive me at a level of value. And I think that's where we devalue ourselves, is when we thank other people for having us perform that service or sell that product or whatever it is. You just devalued yourself and you devalued the product by saying thank you back. And it happens so many times and we don't even recognize it. But that's something really to practice, is not saying thank you. But I'm glad to help.
Well, and TK, I love what you just shared there, but I want to unpack it a little even more. When you mention we are quick to devalue ourselves, we're quick to discount ourselves, and obviously one of the ways that we do it, you mentioned those words, thank you. we're like, when someone's like, oh, thank you so much for your service, you're like, no, no, thank you. It gives the person the impression that you are actually the winner rather than them. And everyone's favorite
Right.
subject is themselves, and they want to be perceived as the winner. They want to be like the one that won in that situation rather than you. But let's go back to that phrase you used, TK. You said we devalue ourselves. What do you mean by that?
We think that when if we're only thinking about ourselves, I think it goes back to um, that this is a big part of it to kind of go back on that question is what's everyone's favorite subject? It's
Yeah.
themselves.
Hmm.
And when we take the subject off of them and we put it back on us, well, it just devalued what they got out of it from us because now they feel like, oh, I just helped you. I didn't get anything out of this because I gave you a check. I paid you for this. Maybe I got ripped off. Maybe I didn't. I don't know because now I feel uncertain. So it's not as high value to me anymore because you just thanked me for providing you the opportunity to perform the service and I gave you a check. So now I don't feel as good about it, you know, as if you had just said, hey, I'm glad to help. Call me anytime.
You know, it,
The product or service that you gave is worth so much more because
right.
you did that rather than thanking them. And as soon as you thanked them, you made it all about you.
Mm,
And we just go back to making it all about them. And by doing that, you're keeping the subject back all about them. That anything you need, I'm here to help you. I'm glad I could help you rather than thank you for helping me.
right.
Because that's
Right.
all
Yeah.
they heard. All they heard was, oh, I just helped you, you know? And as polite and as genuine as that may have come from us or from anyone, because our intentions are always good,
Sure.
probably always good when you're saying that. You just put yourself in that one down position and you devalued what you just did for that person in their eyes. So it's not as valuable to them anymore. They feel like they did you a favor versus you helping them. So I
Well,
think our sales go way up and our service or anything that we're providing is worth way more when we don't devalue it by saying thank you back.
it does create it does really create an interesting dynamic, TK, because last December my wife and I, we bought a car, and as we were leaving the lot, we were super excited about the car, and we turned to the salesman, who was really accommodating, and we're like, hey, thank you so much, thanks for all your help, your information. And he goes, no, thank you. And as he said it, I was like, wait, what do you mean? It's
Yeah,
like, what are you talking about? Why are you thanking me? What happened? Did I just get ripped off? Why is he smiling and saying thank you? When TK, had he said, hey, Chad, this is what we love to do. We love helping people find their dream car,
right.
right? Then I would have been like, oh, he's the best. But instead, as I was driving off, I was like, wait a second, what just happened here? you
Right.
know, did I just get taken advantage of? Because he kept thanking me so much through the process. And it just changes the complete outcome or the feeling that at least I had in that specific situation.
Absolutely. And I think by practicing that, you genuinely do take the subject off yourself and make it about the customer. Because as soon as you thank you've immediately put the plate back in your hands. Like, oh yeah, yeah, thank you for helping me. And now you're thinking about yourself. So if you just continue to think about, hey, I'm glad I can help you. Let me know what else I can do. Call me anytime, whatever it is, and avoid saying those two words. Because as soon as you say them, you just turn it back all about you. And this isn't about you.
And TK, what I watched you as you were did master this principle is your confidence started increasing,
Yeah,
because you weren't groveling for their business. Oh my goodness, you had so many choices. Thank you for actually picking me. You weren't groveling. Your confidence actually grew in the words that you were saying, getting out of that one down position.
totally. And it's not about not having gratitude. It's
Mm.
in my opinion, it's the opposite. If anything, I'm more grateful because it makes what you're doing more fun. Because who doesn't want to help someone? You know, And if you can help them and you provided something that made them happy, or helped them in any ways, that feels good. So why not keep it about them and take it off of you? Because
You,
it's, like we said, as soon as you say thank you, you just kind of got a little bit selfish because you brought it back into you.
mm,
This isn't about you. And if you can avoid making it about you, you're automatically more successful, and people um, feel that you're more valuable, which you are. And I think that was a big lesson for me.
well, and something you said, TK, there that was really powerful. You said, this is not about not being grateful. It's actually showing a higher sense of gratitude. And why I think that's so impactful, TK, is because people that show gratitude are outward facing individuals. People that aren't grateful are always thinking about themselves, right? Because the person that is grateful and full of gratitude, they're always looking outward, looking to help other people, looking to make the world a better place. Those people that lack gratitude keep thinking about themselves, 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 themselves. So when the person, at least in my situation with the car, when that person shook my hand and said, "Hey, thank you," it felt to me at least that it was all about him, and he actually lacked gratitude. I'm like, well, yeah, but what did I bought the car. And so it's when you put yourself out of that one down position, you're actually showing a higher level of gratitude and a desire to help other people.
Yeah. I mean, you just experienced it with buying the car. It probably, what it sounds like, made you feel a little uncertain. Oh, did I get ripped off? Did I pay a ton in commission? And that's why you're saying thank you. And so now I just overpaid for something. Now I'm uncertain about my purchase. And
Right.
why do that to someone? Why not just make it all about them? That, hey, I was so glad I could help you. Glad you got a great deal. I'm glad you got the car of your dreams. Everything you just said. You know,
Well,
then
and
you
then
walk away feeling better. You drive away feeling better rather than, oh, thank you for paying more for this so that I could get a big commission check. Because that's what you just told the customer, you know?
100%. And what's interesting is it goes back to what you mentioned earlier, TK, is the value that salesperson brought to the table. I thought it was a ton of value all the way up until that point that he was thanking me for buying the car.
Yeah.
And so he didn't understand the value that he brought. So let me ask you this, TK. How did you make that switch? How did you make the switch to saying, okay, instead of, because thanking was something that you did all the time. So how all of a sudden do you make that switch of saying, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, hey, I'm glad to help. This is what I love to do, or even you're welcome. How were you able to make that switch?
I think it's when you and I talked, and sometimes you need someone to help you kind of see through the weeds with what you're doing and help point something out to you. Well, when it's pointed out to me and you really recognize and you put yourself in that person's position, is that how you would want to feel? And that's not a good feeling. And
No.
so that's what I was actually doing to people. I was making them question doing business with me or devaluing what I could help them with because I thanked them. And it made it look like, oh, this is all about this guy and what he's going to get out of this job or out of this opportunity to provide me, this product or service, whatever it was, you know. So that was one. And I think that the second thing is clearly understanding that when what saying thank you means. There are opportunities to say thank you. And this conversation, to be clear, is not that you never, ever say thank you. When
Right.
someone does something nice for you, get you a birthday gift or a glass of water, whatever, of course, the polite thing, you say thank you. It shows your appreciation. That is thinking about them. This is in the opposite end, opportunities that we get in with business, with sales or meetings or whatever, that we make it about us. And that, that you might have an employee that did a great job, on something. And when, let's take that scenario, you have someone that's doing a great job working for you, and you go in and you tell them, hey, thank you so much. Who did you make that about? You just made it all about you, and you took all the credit away from the person who was doing a great job. So rather than saying thank you and making it all about you, hey, Allison, or, George, whatever, great job. I don't want, and what you're saying is, I don't want to take anything from you because you deserve that. You did a great job, and you deserve every bit of what that means. Not because of me, and you did something to help me and help me, succeed, or, earn more money, or whatever it is. I just took it away from you. Why do I ever want to take that great job? You deserve every bit of that because you did a wonderful job, and you should be proud of yourself. And
Right.
so rather than saying thank you to an employee who's doing, an awesome job in your company, even though you're appreciative, that's great to be appreciative, but you're showing your appreciation is letting them take that credit. So give the
Mhm.
credit to them by telling
Right.
them, good job, you did wonderful. You deserve every bit of that. But as soon as you say, hey, thanks for making me look good. Uh, thanks for giving me a bigger check in my account this month because of that job you landed. Really appreciate it. You just took it all from them. So why not give it back to them by
That's
saying great job?
such a great point. And so what we do, TK, is we by using words like thank you, and I'll share another one here in just a moment, we put ourselves in that groveling and, as we call it, that one down position. And what happens is when we find ourselves in that one down position, we often find ourselves getting bitter and frustrated. And it just changes the dynamic of the relationship enough to where it just simply doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know, you and I have a close individual that owned a property management company, and he called me and he said, Chad, we have a problem with the property management company. I said, what's that? He goes, well, we have a lot of customers, we have a lot of clients, but we don't like them, we hate them, and I was like, well, that's a significant problem, right? When your employees hate the people they work with. And when we jumped in and took a look at what was happening, they were putting them in such that one down position. Oh, thank you so much, thank you so much. It put them in a one down position that the people felt like they could treat those individuals as employees of the property management company a certain way because
Yeah.
they kept securing themselves in that one down position, and
Yeah.
it made the relationship simply not work.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
in another way we do it, TK, another word that we say, don't use thank you in those circumstances because it puts you in that one down position. But another word that will do it too is when we say sorry.
Yep.
Now, everyone, especially from the Midwest of the United States, listening right now, and we have listeners all over the world, but those that are familiar with the Midwest, TK, they'll say sorry all the time for no reason, right? And saying sorry all the time also puts you in that one down position because the truth of the matter is people don't want to hear I'm sorry. They want to get resolution.
Right.
If you were at a restaurant, you were at an Italian restaurant, and you ordered fettuccine alfredo and they brought you out spaghetti with marinara, you would be like, this is the wrong dinner. And if they looked at you and said, oh yeah, sorry, you'd
Yeah.
be like, well, I don't want to hear you're sorry, right? But if they go, oh my goodness, you are exactly right, that's the wrong dinner, let me get you the other one immediately, and they come back and they hand you the next dinner, it changes the dynamic of the relationship.
Absolutely. There was a something that happened today with individual that I work with where I made a mistake. I handled something wrong, and I thought about it and thought about it. And, I really, it's our habit that I just want to, hey, let me go say sorry. I'm so sorry. The bottom line is sorry typically puts it back in my shoes, and in my opinion, makes it look like a cheap, easy way out from finding the resolution rather than my genuine heart was to, I want to make this right. And let me show
Right.
you how I'm going to make this right. They didn't want to hear sorry. And that conversation went way better I made a mistake and I realized it. So I went to him, I called him, and I said, "Hey, I'm really wanting to make this right. I made a mistake." And rather than saying sorry, because I really kept myself from doing that because I didn't want to make it about me. I wanted to make this about him because I made the mistake and I wanted to fix it and I wanted to make it right. But me saying sorry makes it seem like it's an easy cop out for me.
Totally. It totally does. I mean, Cassie and I, we've been married almost 30 years, 28 years this year, but one of the things we haven't always seen complete eye to eye when it comes to school, and when I say school, Cassie thinks, the kids should be in class, which is probably the right thing. But if they call me and say, "Hey, Dad, I'm doing well in this class, my friends, we want to go do this. Is that okay?" Well, you're doing well in that class, make sure you keep your grades up high and go have fun. Right. And I'm not suggesting that's the right thing to do. Right. But Cassie's like, look, they should be in class. And so we've had discussions, and when I've excused a kid that maybe shouldn't have been excused, and she goes, "Hey, you know what? They should really be in class, and you shouldn't excuse them for everything." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sorry about that." I've realized that just makes her more frustrated. She's
Yeah,
like, but if I'm like, you know what, you're right. They need to be in class. They need to be the, and I make sure I'm clear in not just apologizing. Cause like you said, apologizing just not only puts you in that one down position, but just really shows a lack of care. You're just saying, sorry, sorry, sorry. What Cassie wants to hear is, oh, you know what? That's right. I'm going to fix this and so forth. And by the way, that's what people want to hear in general. They just want to hear, okay, what's the resolution? People aren't looking for a sorry, they're looking for a resolution.
right,
And that's the difference.
right. I
And
think that this was great. Those are the two big ways that we all do it. We put ourselves in a one down position. We say thank you at the inappropriate time to say thank you, and we say sorry at an inappropriate time that really needs. This is what I'm going to do to fix it. You know,
100%. And I'm in TK in just the last couple of minutes. I just want to point one more out that puts you in that one down position as well. And that is self-deprecating humor. And I know people are like, "Oh no, Chad,
yeah,
I'm really
good
funny
one.
at deprecating humor," but it's not a good look, and it's one of those things that will secure you in the one down position. In fact, I years ago when I was running a speaker team that was actually selling products from stages. We had this one individual came to me within the company. It was a large company, but he came to me and he was a comedian and he said, "Chad, I'm really great in front of a lot of people. I think I could do really well at selling this product in front of everybody." And so he got up and he used his what he thought was funny, good, self-deprecating humor. And then at the end of the presentation, he's like, "Now buy my suggestion of this product and implement it in your business," right?
Yeah,
And I talked to people that were at the event and they're like, "He just spent an hour telling us how stupid he is. He just spent an hour telling us that he's made so many mistakes. And now we're supposed to go, oh, okay, we're going to follow your counsel there." He spent an hour putting him in that one down position and then was surprised that nobody wanted to follow his counsel and purchase the product.
uh,
And I'm not saying that you put yourself in one down position when you're speaking from stage using self-deprecating humor alone. I think we do it even in one-on-one scenarios where we say things about ourselves, we're too critical of ourselves, and we end up putting ourselves. And I just say not just self-deprecating humor, TK, but self-deprecating anything. Just we need to be kinder to ourselves, and going back to what you said earlier in the podcast, and that is understanding your value. and
absolutely.
and when you understand your value and you understand your worth, you'll have a desire to get out of that one down position. And that's something that TK, you understood your value. You didn't understand why you weren't closing some of the deals you wanted to close. And then you realized that you weren't communicating your value the right way. And
Right.
that's what everything comes back to is how are you communicating your value? And one of those is just staying out of that one down position.
Yeah. Absolutely.
TK, it's been awesome being here with you. Loved your insights. Loved what you shared. It's been a tremendous, tremendous podcast. Great being with you.
So great. Look forward to being on the next one.
Absolutely. Have a tremendous day, everyone.